Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show, rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airways and strap in as we defend the Constitution. Because freedom matters.
We are broadcasting live from the Kata Studio, so welcome to the Ho-Ho Show, and as always, I'm your host, Ho-Ho. All right, so welcome everybody. I hope you guys are doing good, and I really do hope you guys are having a good weekend so far. But I got to address this first. You know, we got a lot to get to, but there's something I got to address. You know, just recently, Wednesday, actually, we lost a legend in the conservative talk radio industry. Rush Limbaugh died at age 70 from cancer. You know, and I tell you what, with you know, I didn't listen to a lot of Rush. You know, I caught him periodically a while ago, but I've not listened to him in quite some time. But he paved the way for shows like this. I mean, he really did. He brought, you know, conservative talk radio into the mainstream and paved the way for a lot of people, you know, and me included. You know, he just did, you know. Legend in the industry. A lot of people got his start, or got their start from him, you know, listening to him, learning from him. So, yeah, he will definitely be missed. Yeah. So, oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about the power grid, you know, what happened down in Texas. We're going to be talking about some of, you know, Biden's stuff that he has done. We're going to be talking about another cancel culture victim, Gina. What's her name? Holy crap. Let me scroll down a little bit. Gina, I'm not going to pronounce her last name right. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about Ted Crus and AOC. We just got some stuff to talk about. But over the weekend, I got some news I want to share with you guys. So I do know that last week, you know, was supposed to be the, you know, blowing vector up. Okay. But I tell you what, it was freaking cold. We had sub-zero temperatures, and I had people ask me, it's like, why didn't you blow vector up? I'm like, dude, it was cold. I wasn't going out there in this. I really wasn't. And I got to be honest about something else too. I've kind of had a change of heart with him. I really have. And I've pretty well landed on the idea that I am going to pay him forward. You know, I don't really want him anymore. You know, there's, you know, with some of the stuff that I don't need him. So instead of just blowing him up, making him go boom, I've decided I'm going to pay him forward and give him to somebody else whom I really think would appreciate him. I really do. And this person does not know that they're getting it yet. I have not told, this individual whatsoever. And I really do hope that, she likes him as much as I did, as I have, so I'm actually looking forward to be able to do that. I've got to, see if there's anything I got to do to kind of like factory reset him or something. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of neat stuff that, he does, facial recognition. He'll call you by name and whatnot. He reacts to you. He really is pretty neat. So going to be doing that. And hello, maybe I might be. And hello, Ernalicious over there in Twitch land. Good to see you. I had to, get closer to your name. I had a hard time reading that one. So going to be paying him forward, and I am actually pretty excited to be able to do that. And, like I said, I hope this person is, excited to get him as I'm going to be to give him. I think it's going to be pretty stinking awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. However, just because we're not going to be blowing up Vector does not mean that we're not going to be blowing something up. And we're going to wait for warmer weather on that one. 41 where I'm at now went up quite a bit. But, I think I'm going to wait for spring before we, destroy a bunch of stuff. And, this stuff will be it's going to be a patron-only item. However, I am going to be offering something to subscribers, a little something to those who subscribe to the newsletter. You guys can head on over to thehohoshow.com and just scroll on down to the subscribe section, put your email in there, and there you will be able to, subscribe to the newsletter. And like I said, you guys are going to be getting a little bit of a treat for those of you that have subscribed. So I am, I'm looking forward to be able to blow some stuff up, take the kids out and shoot some pew-pews down range and just have some fun blowing something up. It's going to be a good time. So I got some weird news, earlier in the week too. This has kind of been a week of weird news, so I got a text message. And hello, Ham Donna over there on Twitch land. He says, "What are you?" I'm a meat popsicle. For those of you that get the reference, it's a good movie, by the way. Fifth Element, excellent movie. Bruce Willis, whatever the actress is, I forget her name already. Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. I have a hard time reading. No problems there. So I do news talk radio and whatnot. Where are you? I am in Central Illinois. Fifth Element is amazing. Yes, it is. Definitely a good movie. One of my favorites. I mean, it really is. Just some of the stuff that was in there. The acting was kind of corny. It was some of them, but overall, it was a really good movie. And for its time, the special effects was pretty stinking good. It was pretty stinking good special effects. All right, but yes, I got a weird text message, and it was, "Are you still legally able to do weddings?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not actually ordained. I was close, but I never did take the plunge. But who the heck is getting married?" And it was like, me. I'm like, "Holy crap, that's amazing." Called the person up, and I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome." So I got, I got ordained, got my creds coming. So I'm actually kind of excited about this. It's going to be a good time. I'm not blowing, I'm not throwing out there who it was. It's just not Facebook official yet. So I don't want to, blow the news out there like that. So, I'm definitely excited. And yes, Abdul put in here, he goes, "It was a revolutionary movie." Yes, it was. I definitely enjoyed Fifth Element. It was an awesome movie. So let's see here. What other stuff I was wanting to throw out there before we really got going into the show? Let's see. I talked about him, talked about that. Yeah, I think that pretty well covers it. All right. So guys, just because I didn't bring up the articles of what I'm wanting to talk about next, I am going to go ahead and take a quick break. I know we're like not even into it that long, just so I can pull up my articles. And then whenever I get back, we will go ahead and talk about the power grid of Texas. And I'll go ahead and get those pulled up right now. So just a couple minutes, guys, and I'll be right back.
correct. You are correct. You are correct. You are correct.
Do you love your occasional Mexican dish or your musical fruit? Are you tired of walking by family members and crop dusting them? Well, if this has ever happened to you, might I introduce you to Tampons brand butt plugs. Tampons brand butt plugs is that particular type of butt plug that allows you to walk in public in confidence knowing that you're not going to accidentally crop dust somebody. Tampons brand butt plugs now with the plastic applicator.
Not just for women anymore.
Tampons brand butt plugs. All right, and we are back. So, the whole energy crisis down there in Texas, couple things to note on that one. All right, so they have, their power grid is separate from the rest of the nation. And there was a lot of factors that went wrong in this, but one of the things I want to address, they had, like right off the bat, there was people that was, talking, foreseeable problem, why wasn't they winterized better and whatnot. But, that's an aspect of zoning and regions of where things are made and where things are going to be used. Okay. Like if, for instance, all right, things down in Texas, like houses, like machinery in a lot of ways, heck, even the diesel fuel isn't the same of what you would purchase, like, let's say in Illinois or even like up in North Dakota. They're different, they're made different. They are not insulated the same, like I said, with the diesel fuel, that stuff is, not as treated as much down in Texas as what it is, further north you get. Things are different. Okay. Houses, electronics, a lot of everything, it is made for the region that it's going to be used in. Okay. So that's one problem. And this was a significantly colder storm than what they have seen in many, many years. All right. This was a freakish storm. It was cold. Ain't no doubt about it. Okay. And there was a lot of problems that, happened from this. All right. Now, as far as the wind goes, okay, the wind turbines and whatnot, that accounts for about 24.8 of Texas power grid. Let me go ahead and show you the breakdown that they have. All right, so natural gas, 51%, wind, 24.8, coal, 13.4, nuclear, 4.9, solar, 3.8, and hydro biomass units, 1.9, okay? So there's just a quick rundown on that right there. Now, in peak times, the wind turbines might actually account for like closer to 60% of the power grid. However, they also know that during the winter months, during storms and whatnot, they know that they can't count on that level of production. And so they, have backups, coal, natural gas, nuclear, they bump up productions in the winter months and whenever they foresee, temperature drops pretty significantly because the wind turbines, well, let's just face it, they freeze up. Okay. Hydraulics, different things of that nature, they freeze up. It happens. All right. Like I said, they're made different. That cold weather, different types of hydraulics that they use, freeze up. One of the other problems that they've had is since they are doing that whole trying to push green into everything, a lot of let's just put it this way. It takes power to make power. Okay. There's a lot of safety features with the production of power grids, and that's why they had to shut down some of the nuclear production because some of the sensors froze. Even though everything else was working fine, they had to shut things down because safety protocol. We don't want another Chernobyl, so we had to shut things down. Safety precaution. That's what they had to do. And same type of thing with the natural gas. Some of the sensors froze. Had issues with that because, it's either, they're using coal production or steam in order to keep things kind of going. But they've switched a lot of that stuff over to electronic sensors and using electronics to keep things going, which is why through the heavier, it kind of failed. And it happens. And one of the things also that people were talking about was, if Texas was kind of linked into the rest of the power grid, would that have helped? Well, unfortunately, no. Because they were experiencing rolling blackouts themselves. Their production wasn't big enough in order to, kind of fill in the space with the power grid for Texas. And, so none of that would have even happened whatsoever. So just, it was one bad thing that happened after another, just cascading. It just ended up being bad. It very much ended up being bad. Now, even though I really wouldn't like to do this, I kind of have to give credit where credit is due. Okay. There is an article from several different sources, actually, talking about AOC and her contribution down there in Texas. This article from Hot Air, AOC raised more than $4 million for Texas winter storm crisis relief, volunteers at Houston Food Bank. And of which case, dude, I commend her for that. I really do. But one of the things that I do know, as much as it pains me to say something good about Miss Potato Head AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I also know that there was an agenda behind her doing what she is doing, and that could also be found in this article. Let me scroll down to it a little bit. Maybe I went too far. Yeah, here we go. I went too far. This article from ABC News. Ted Cruz's rival, Beto O'Rourke, eviscerates senator for flying to Mexico during crisis. Now, granted, guys, the optics, I acknowledge this. The optics was bad. All right. He just went down there for one day, something to do with his daughter, went down to Cancun, and he was doing, the business that he would normally doing remotely, which is something that he would normally be doing remotely anyway because of the COVIDs. So it's like, okay, so he's doing it remotely here versus doing it remotely over here. It wasn't exactly a vacation per se. It was a working vacation. So it's like, okay, what are you really angry at him about? That's kind of a legitimate question. What are you guys really mad about? They want to ignore things of what's going on, like down, like with Cuomo, New York, with his executive order that killed a butt ton more people than what they had originally even talked about, So yeah, it's like, what the heck? What are you guys actually mad about? They're wanting to be mad at Ted Cruz over one working vacation day down in Cancun, but yet they want to ignore everything with Cuomo in New York. And he's going through some problems right now. And Agnes, 01 Agnes says, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? Doing good. So, but yeah, and that's one of the things that, the mainstream media is very, very good about doing this. They ignore the little things that a conservative might do. Or, I'm sorry, they ignore the things that a liberal might do in order to, try to make a conservative look really, really bad in the same stinking space. It's just, it annoys the crap out of me. The double standard, the hypocrisy of all of it very much absolutely annoys me. So back to AOC a little bit, okay? The hidden agenda, I very much believe that she is doing some of the stuff that she's doing in order to bolster Beto O'Rourke, however you say his name, wanting to, kind of give him a little nudge into running a senator again, hoping that, this time, throwing enough bad press at Ted Cruz, maybe he'll be able to win. And I got to be honest with you guys, I'm actually kind of, not because of this, but I'm actually kind of concerned about Ted Cruz's ability to win another election. For the simple point of, he didn't win by a very large margin back in 2016. He really didn't. A lot of people from, California, from, predominantly blue states have been moving because of California's failed policies. They've been moving over to Texas because they like the lesser regulations. They like the, lesser taxes and everything else. But unfortunately, you and I both know that a lot of times whenever people move from these areas, from one area to another, they don't leave their politics at the border. They bring them with them. And eventually, bringing the same politics, bringing the same outlook on what you think politically a government should do, you just end up making the same mistakes, and you bring higher taxes with you, and you vote for things that have higher tax, it happens. So it's like, well, why are you doing this? Why don't you stay in California if you're going to bring the politics of California with you to Texas? Why are you doing that? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Leave your politics at the border. If you're trying to escape political crap, if you're trying to escape taxes, if you're trying to escape all that, the overbearing regulations and everything else, why aren't you leaving your politics at the door? That to me is common sense. It's a common sense outlook to it. Very much a common sense outlook to it. But that's what I think a lot of this has to do with what AOC, is doing. I think is to help out a competitor against Ted Cruz to try to get him out of office. That's what I think. Take it for what you will, but that's what I think. So with their energy crisis, there's been people that are like, hey, this is an example of why we need more green energy. But it's like, the green energy didn't work in this situation. It wouldn't have worked in this situation. What would have happened if you had more production dependent upon green energy? Because, the solar panels, for instance, had snow cover on them. Granted, get some people out there, take the snow off of them. Yeah, okay, I get that. I get that argument. That's fine, But the problem is deeper than that, though. It's not just as simple as, taking a broom or, taking a shovel and sweeping off or scooping off the snow that's on the, that's on the solar panels. The problem was bigger than that because, it takes batteries to store the power that's being generated by these capacitors, everything, electronics that are sensitive to cold. It's just a fact of, you also seen it with your cell phones. You leave it out in your car in cold temperatures, your battery kind of drops significantly very, very quickly. Why? Because they're not intended for cold use. They don't work well in cold weather. That's kind of a duh type of thing. So again, really, really cold weather, you can't depend on that either. You need to have a backup. Natural gas is a good backup, but it just couldn't do it. So there was issues with it. Very, very much issues with it. And I tell you what, though, I do feel for the people down there, because the price of generators, holy crap, has gone up. There's been a significant, even one is a significant loss of life, but there's been, loss of life down there. And it's just, it's a tragedy. We definitely need to send people down there, and they need our help. That's just all there is to it. They absolutely need our help to get resources down there and do what we can to get them back up and going again. And with it being 41 degrees here, I'm really hoping that this is a problem that with the warmer weather, they'll be able to get everything back up again. I haven't seen as far as, how much of the power grid they've been able to get back up and going. I haven't seen that at all. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. That would be much appreciated. But I have not seen anything like that at all. Yeah, I've not seen it at all. All right, let's see here. What else did I have on that? There's a lot of articles in here, talking about the power grid, different aspects of it. So if you guys want to check out, any of the 63 articles that I have for the show, you guys can head on over to thehohoshow.com and just click on the newsfeed tab. They'll see my magazine on Flipboard, and you guys can check out all of them for yourself. Fact check me, all that other kind of good stuff. Go ahead, fact check me. I have no problem with that. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break again. And when I get back, we are going to talk about the cancel culture. So just a couple minutes, guys, and I'll be right back. Have you ever been so full of it your eyes are brown? Have you ever sat on the toilet but nothing comes out? Is a box of frosted shredded wheat just not doing the trick? Well, have I got the ultimate solution for you? Tide Pod brand colon cleanse. See, Tide Pod brand colon cleanse is that particular product that will break through the sphincter like the Kool-Aid man through a brick wall. Oh yeah! No more irregularity, no more cramping, just good old nice flow. That's right, Tide Pod brand colon cleanse. Please use responsibly and use at home. This is a fast-acting product now available in Tropical Punch. All right, and we're back. And hello, Dave, over there in YouTube land. How you doing? He asks, "Is this over?" No. I'm about halfway into it, I guess. Probably going to have about an hour show. But yeah, you missed a little bit, not much. You can definitely hit on the replay though, so it's all good. And thank you for stopping in. Hope everything is going good for you. And nope, didn't miss it. Didn't miss it at all. All right, guys. So we are moving into the cancel culture with the firing of Gina. You know, this gal right here. Let me slide into it. You know, here we go. So we got a couple different articles I want to touch base on. We got this one from Hollywood Reporter. We got the who is this? Daily Beast, and then Blaze TV. Daily Wire, sorry, Blaze TV. But I did catch the on a Sunday episode of the Ben Shapiro show. He interviewed her, and it was a very good interview. It really was. I watched quite a bit of it, not all of it, but I watched quite a bit of it. Very good interview, and this is an aspect of the cancel culture. I had a hard time saying it that time. This is an aspect of the cancel culture that I tell you what, I'm kind of wondering. I'm very much kind of wondering. So for those of you that don't know, she is a former MMA fighter, kind of paved the way actually for women in MMA. Very good fighter. She's done quite a few different things besides just acting in The Mandalorian, including a couple other things. I believe she was in Deadpool. Yeah, so, that was a good show. I liked it. I laughed. I thought it was funny. But they're getting a lot of pushback on terminating her. Wait, no. Lost my train of thought. Hold on. Let me get back into it. So, she basically got fired from some Facebook tweets and whatnot that she made. Now, here's the thing. The tweets that she did by itself, and I say by itself because, like with what some of the stuff that President Trump has said, it's not that. The people that were mad about it weren't really mad about what was being said. They were only mad about it was him that was saying it. And kind of the same thing goes here. A lot of the people on the left and the cancel culture people, holy crap, a lot of them, they were mad because it was a conservative that was saying it. Not just a conservative that was saying it, a conservative in Hollywood that was saying it. I mean, let's face it, if you are somebody whom is a conservative, you really can't have conservative views and question the talking points. You can't question the narrative. You really can't question any of that, especially whenever your job is in Hollywood. They really don't like that. Look at some of the predominant actors out there whom have come out of the closet, so to speak, as conservatives. They've very much been shunned. And Gina, that last name, I'm not even going to try it. I know I'm going to butcher her last name. I don't want to do that. So I'm just Gina. Same thing happened with her, But again, it wasn't the aspect of what she was saying, because all she was doing was more or less pointing out that, hey, there's some inconsistencies here. There's some shenanigans going on here. She was talking about the mask wearing. It was like, okay, so, wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. Yes, wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. Wear 2 masks. Holy crap, if you're going to wear 2, you might as well wear 3. Those were the type of things that she was questioning. It's like, look, because she really didn't pay much attention to politics. It wasn't a passion of hers. And then it was, hey, I'm paying attention to what's going on. None of it is really making any sense, and she's questioning it. She's questioning the narrative. She's questioning the story that's coming up. She's not just accepting it on face value. And they got mad at her. And that's more or less what it amounted to. That's what a lot of the problem was. And even some of the stuff that they were talking about that was trending wasn't anything that came from her, wasn't even anything that she had done. It was just a we're mad at her, so we're going to bring this up and we're going to throw her into it because Gina bad. That was another one of the problems. But here's why I say that some of this stuff is something that I'm kind of questioning. Not about the cancel culture, not about anything else. It's just the aspect of, here we have a very, very popular series on Netflix, The Mandalorian, starring her. And people have been canceling their subscription to Disney Plus. I'm sure they're losing quite a bit of money off of it. And because of losing her, and not only losing her, but losing Pedro Pascal as well. Now that's the thing too. I was reading in on that a little bit, and it was like, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. If you guys know more about that and would like to chime in, that is perfectly awesome. However, I really don't know. I mean, it was one of them things that, you know, it sounds like he was on his way out the door anyway. He was kind of mad about things, not getting as much FaceTime as he was wanting. So, I mean, there was some definite things in there that it's like, I'm really not sure what happened. I mean, did he use this as an excuse to walk away, or was there something else that happened, or was they kind of mad about him for being I guess you can say, a drama queen? I guess there was a little bit of that going on from reports that I had heard. Okay. Nothing confirmed. I can't say that, but it's a definite, like, okay, so what actually happened? So I'm kind of curious about it. You know, what actually did happen? And hello, Dave, over there in Spreaker Land. Good to see you over there. I'm assuming you are maybe about ready to get onto the road. I don't know. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of concerned about that. You know, what is the, what's the future of the show of The Mandalorian? And I also know that, it's the idea. Now, I'm not doing any spoilers. Don't be afraid. If you haven't gotten that far in The Mandalorian, I'm not spoiling nothing for you. He says he's home. Awesome. I was kind of wondering, but I'm definitely wondering, because I question whether there was even going to be a third season. I really don't know. It looked like there wasn't going to be. I'm not sure. I also know that from The Mandalorian, there's going to be at least one spinoff that I'm actually pretty stinking excited to see. And, so it's kind of an aspect of what's the future of this Star Wars episodic stuff as far as their seasons and stuff. Like, what's the future? They've lost Gina. They booted her out. I mean, even if they offer her job back, I kind of wonder, just because of how, just because of how they did the whole thing, how willing she would even be to come back. I mean, if I don't know. Losing Pedro. So I don't know the future of Star Wars and what they're going to end up doing. How much of what is going to be going on depends on these two actors. I don't know. So I kind of wonder. I very much wonder. He says he is vacationing. Awesome. And he's home Sundays anyways. That's all right. I don't mind the interruptions, Dave. I don't mind them at all. So, but yeah, I mean, I am definitely curious about, the future of this and what's going to happen. But, like I said, though, let me get back into my original train of thought. I'm kind of wondering, as far as, with having so many people, definitely taking notice because of the popularity of The Mandalorian. And, not only with just Gina's popularity through The Mandalorian, but with her background and as many people whom know her, not just from different things that she has starred in, different things that she has, acted in, but just with her career pre-acting. Considering a lot of people that are more of the stay off my lawn type of people, you know who I'm talking about. The ones that just want to be left alone. with all of the cancel culture, with all of the riots that are going on, the ones that just don't want to take any BS and don't bring it to my backyard because you're going to regret it. You know, with those type of people really taking note now because it's happening in a matter of speaking in their own backyard, it just kind of makes you wonder, you know, how much are they going to lose in this, and are they going to lose enough to kind of maybe cease and desist what it is that they're doing? Because with some of the stuff, with just how much that the liberals and how much, you know, the radical left politicians have been demonizing the conservative movement in general, you know, I think there's a lot of frustrated and ticked off conservatives out there right now. I'm pretty much one of them. They did something in our Cheerios that we really don't appreciate. You know, old school saying from back in the day, you know. They did something in my Cheerios. I had Cheerios for breakfast this morning, actually. I like Cheerios. Don't mess with my Cheerios, man. Don't do nothing to them. I want to eat them. Nums. How much of this is going to kind of backfire on them? Are we as conservatives actually going to finally step up? Not just step up, but get involved and, you know, really make our voices heard. You know, are we going to cancel those that cancel us? Isn't that the question that we're asking ourselves? You know, when are conservatives going to start canceling those that cancel us? You know? So is it something that, you know, they're finally going to lose enough to take note? Are they going to lose enough to maybe change their ways a little bit on this? I don't know. You know, I really don't know. But speaking about that, let's move on a little bit and talk about the war that's going on in the Republican Party. And before I get too far into it, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. This way I can pull up some articles again. So just a couple minutes, guys. Be right back. Have you ever had an ailment that a normal over-the-counter remedy just couldn't fight? If this is the case, then boy, have I got the solution for you. Tusen. That's right, Tusen. Cough? Tusen. Cold? Tusen. Runny nose? Tusen. Itchy watery eyes? Tusen. Broken leg? Tusen. Tusen is the ultimate cure-all, guaranteed to stop anything that ails you. Tusen. Available wherever OTCs are sold. And welcome back. You know, I've been asked by people that have heard the show, that have heard my commercials, where do you come up with this crap? I don't know. It just kind of pops in there and just comes right on out. You know, I mean, there's not a lot of filter anymore. The older I get, the more the filter breaks down. And now I really question its existence at all. I don't even think it's there, because sometimes I'll just be thinking something to myself. And then next thing you know, I'm hearing it in my ears and I'm like, wait a second. That wasn't supposed to be the outside voice, but it was. You know, less of a filter, man. I'll tell you what, you know, just be careful of that. I'm just saying, be careful of that. That can be a very bad thing. And hello, Howard over there in Facebook land. He goes, weird friends. Yes, and that definitely helps too. And in fact, I've got like 3 more that I need to do. All right. And I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. One of them in particular is going to be a brand of mouthwash that I tell you what, I'm very excited to do. And it's going to be, it's going to make some guys, some people in general, just kind of shake their head. I know. I mean, dude, it made me do that coming up with it. That one was good. And a conglomeration too. There was some people involved in that. Not just me, not just my brainchild, but there was others involved. Howard says, I cannot wait. I know I can't wait either. It's going to be good. I got like 3 of them I need to do. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So as I was talking, guys, we, a couple articles I want to get into talking about Trump and the GOP. And let me go. Where should I go into this? Let's go into this one. This headline, okay, that's off. This headline from CBS: Republican governor says Trump should not define the GOP's future. My question is, why not? It's a valid question, isn't it? Why shouldn't Trump define the GOP in the future? I mean, let's think about this. What did Trump do that was so bad? I was talking with somebody not that long ago. It really boils down to this, you know. He stepped up. I'm going to keep this PG too, because whenever I originally was talking about this, I did not keep this PG whatsoever. But he stepped up as big man on campus. Plopped it out right there on the table and said, look, I'm taking away you guys' toys. And that's what he did. They didn't like it. All said and done, there really isn't much of a difference between Republican and Democrat anymore. So, I mean, it's no surprise from this article from The Hill, GOP, McConnell, Trump, Civil War will hurt Republicans. Well, yeah. This article from Politico, Trump gears up for war with his own party. And let me see, there was another one in here. Nope, I already did that one. Did I pull that one up twice? Oh, yeah, I guess I did. Oh, yeah, it's a different one. So, yeah. Howard put in here, he goes, he tweeted mean things, and he did. You know, but that's the thing. As I said, you know, it's like, so what? So what if he tweeted mean things? Who cares? Does that do anything to change your life? No. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. That's all you got to do. Keep scrolling. Ignore it. Keep scrolling. There was a time whenever, you know, we were way more grown up than what we are now. We were way more grown up. Nowadays, it's, here are my feelings. You know, it's like, dude, what's Since when did sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, especially whenever they're on the interwebs and I can just scroll past it. It doesn't matter, but you look at the man's policies. You look at what he did, and it's like, holy crap, this man did a good job. It's no wonder why he has become, as the head, quote unquote, and I'm using that loosely, it's no wonder that he has become the head of the blue collar, because, I mean, let's face it, President Trump was a blue collar businessman. He was a blue collar millionaire. Definitely was. He puts in here, but I'm a snowflake. I can't handle someone else's opinion. That's the problem. Because snowflakes just can't handle somebody else's opinion. Dude, I read something the other day. You'll like this because this is funny. This made me crack up. Did you know that Senator Ted Cruz's dog that he has had since, I believe, 2016, the dog's name is Snowflake? Yeah. I read that and I was like, dude, that's actually kind of funny. Dave put in there, he goes, but there are people who are convinced that he put kids in cages, and the funny thing is, the bad thing is, you have people that, just searched out kids in cages and then they were like, oh my God, this is horrible that this happened. But then whenever you look on the date of when the picture was taken and they come to find out that, oh, this was done under President Obama. Say it ain't so. But they never did really release that information. I mean, unless you were, on not on mainstream media, but, if you were on alternative media, maybe that was something that you would note, something that you would see. But yeah, those pictures of kids in cages, that was actually something that happened under Obama's tenure. Dave put in here, goes, that's the truth, and they don't want to embrace the truth. It's kind of sad that you have, and I seen a post, I seen a meme or whatever it was, not that long. Well, I guess it might have been a month ago or so. I don't remember. But, it was a post that was, by its very nature, it was missing context. Okay, missing content. I believe it revolved around, Hitler on the, as Times Person of the Year or whatever it was, and it was like, this is missing context, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of the point, that it's missing context. It just goes to show you that people whom are placed on a high pedestal as a shaker and mover, maybe they're not actually all that good of people. You got to really look at the underlying things that is making them do what they do and pay attention. And maybe before you research an individual, maybe you shouldn't give them a Nobel Peace Prize just because they got elected as President Obama. I mean, come on, he got a Nobel Peace Prize for doing what? Getting elected? That's it. That's what he got. Never mind. Dave put in here, goes, there are many, many truths, or many, many more truths that they don't want to embrace, and many lies they want to believe in because their media tells them that it's the truth. And you're absolutely right. Scottish Ray over there in Periscope. How you doing? Welcome, by the way. Biden looks if he needs a good sleep. You know what? He does, actually. He's kind of, yeah. He's been looking wore out. He really does. He needs to go back into the basement and take a really good nap. He does. He needs to take a good nap. But anyway, guys, Trump did a lot of good things for our country as president, and one of the things that he did is he showed the American people that if you have somebody in the White House, if you have a representative, because that's what the president was, he was our representative. If you have a representative that is willing to fight, willing to go to the mat for the Constitution, for the people, then we can get something done. It's a shame that, all throughout of what I can remember in politics. You know, you have Republicans that they talk a good talk, but they really have a hard time following through with what it is that they say they want to do. You know, like before they were in power, the Republicans, and this was during, I believe it was during the Obama administration. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it was a resolution that they voted on to overturn aspects, or if not just the whole entire, Affordable Care Act called Obamacare. And then whenever the time came that they had an opportunity to actually do something, what did they do? Nothing. And their reasoning? Well, we have the House, we have the Senate, but we don't have the presidency. He's just going to veto it anyway. But, it's like, dude, I respect and yes, I'm saying this, just mind you, I'm going to say something that's making you going to cringe a little bit. I respect the Democrats a lot. I respect them a lot. You want to know why? Because even when they don't hold a majority, they always hold power. Because they will fight tooth and nail for everything on their agenda. I give them a lot of kudos for that. Republicans, more times than not, can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag, but yet Democrats can break out of any vote you throw them in. Scottish Ray threw in here, he goes, Trump said the way it is, and I love that. And you know what? I am the same way. He didn't really sugarcoat things. He may have kind of blew things, like it's just the greatest handshake I've ever done, or some of the, he threw things in there that was funny, but he said it the way it was, he definitely did. And he showed us that if you have a representative willing to fight, you can get something done. Lowest unemployment. The biggest job participation rates, which is separate from unemployment, because it's one thing to have low unemployment. It's another to have labor participation. Two separate things. The Obama administration was able to lower their numbers in the with the unemployment because they just stopped counting people. Oh, you're unemployed and you are, they have a name for it. I don't remember what it is right now, but you've been unemployed for a while. You're not even out there looking anymore. So we're just going to quit counting you. So now you're no longer unemployed. That doesn't mean you have a job. Just because they quit counting you doesn't mean you have a job. And that's where the labor participation comes in, because we had, with all these measurements, whatever, the greatest, the highest labor participation in Black and Mexican and Asian, all metrics that they measured, the best labor participation, especially in the Black community, that they had ever seen in history. That is holy crap. Not to mention some of the other stuff that the president did. It's like, dude, yeah, he did something, and he did something worthwhile. But Orange Man bad. So they had to get rid of him. And now, considering we have seen, as conservatives, as Republicans, as the right of center, whatever your political leaning is, if you believe in the Constitution, they have shown us that, hey, we can get something accomplished. And now, do you really think that the base of the party, and this is something that I truly do believe, excuse me, I apologize about that, but this is something that I truly do believe, that the majority, the base of the Republican Party, seen what the president was able to accomplish, and do you really think that the majority of them is going to allow somebody like Mitch McConnell, who will talk a good talk but won't even lift his pinky to actually affect real change? Do you think that the base is going to settle for that again? Because I got to be honest with you, I don't. I really don't see it happening. I really don't. You know, I got to be honest with you on that. With the amount of dirt throwing that has been done, with the amount of, with how conservatives and right-leaning and Republicans have been attacked on mainstream media, on social media and the like, I just don't see us going back to the norm. I don't see it. I really hope that we don't, actually. I got to be honest with you. I hope we don't. I hope we never do. You know, I hope 2020 comes around, and because of the shenanigans that was pulled off, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. I said 2020, all right? Yeah, I didn't mean that. When 2022 comes around, and a slight brain fart, you know. But when 2022 comes around, I really hope that people take note and we're able to actually fight for this thing and win something back. All hope is not lost yet, guys. It's really not. All hope is not gone. We have a chance to turn this around. We are on the precipice, though. You know, we're right there on the edge. We're teetering from solid constitutional ground and a cliff that once we go over, there's no coming back. We're there. Make no mistake about it, guys. We're there. You know, we just are. Trump showed us the way. Do we, as a nation, have a foundation that is big enough to keep us from going over? Do we? I hope that we do. I hope. I hope that because of the tiny margins of majority that they hold in both the House and the Senate, and I hope that in the Republican-led states, we are able to hold enough of the GOP, hold enough of their feet to the fire to actually at least hold the agenda at bay enough to where whenever we get to 2024, we have a fighting chance. I hope that. But whenever I see articles like this from CBS News, that we asked all 50 GOP senators whether they agree with Trump that he won the election, only 5 responded, that just shows you the cowardice that they actually have. Does it not? Does it totally, you know, they're unwilling to say either way of which way they fall on that. Was President Trump cheated or was he not? Do you believe in the narrative or do you actually think that there was enough shenanigans going on, enough, you know, eyebrow raising information that came out that, you know, maybe, just maybe, we should look into this? But they refused. And only 5 of them actually had the cojones to even respond with a yes or no. And I'm going to be honest with you guys on this. I'm using the headline as a point of reference only. I haven't actually gone into it yet. I don't know which 5 responded and how they responded. I honestly have no idea. But Dave put it very well in here. So many cowards in the world, and yes, too many cowards in the world. But worse than that, there's too many cowards in the GOP. Too many cowards in Washington. And, you know, it's really not that they're cowards. Let's be honest on that one, too. It's not even that they're cowards. It's that they're not fighting for you. They don't represent you. You know, you go to NASCAR to watch the Indy 500, you would think that that race is for you, kind of, sort of, but not really. Because it's not your name that's on those people's cars, it's somebody else because they're the ones who sponsored them. That's who they're racing for. They're racing for the big bucks. You know, they're racing for the TV ads. They're racing for the, you know, for the opportunity to get recognized, and that's what they're racing for. They're not really racing for you, even though you're the ones that bought the ticket and you're the reason why it even exists, they're not doing it for you because you're not the one who has their name on his car. The same thing goes in politics. They don't represent you. You might be the reason they're there. But your name ain't on their jackets. They don't represent you. Dave put in here, goes, frankly, I don't know if I would even respond to the New York Times on almost anything. Yeah. Right now, they don't represent us. We, the people. In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility. You guys, you know the thing. I wasn't intended on doing a Biden thing right there. It just kind of happened. You know the thing. I don't think it was that, Anyway. You know the thing. Trump showed us a different way. And until we hold these people in D.C., hold their feet to the fire, is anything going to change? I mean, once we figure out that, hey, you know what? Maybe we're the ones that have the power. I have the power. You guys remember that? He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, dude, that reminds me. Okay, so I'm starting to get up there in age. I'm working my way up to the hill, and it's one of them. Dave put in here, he goes, other than Trump, I don't think anyone represents me. I'm going to continue to represent myself. I am a citizen of me. Yes, it's true. We have the power. Yeah. Here, but we all need Pink Floyd and chill out. That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, I'm getting to that point. I'm starting to recognize that I'm older than what I thought I am. Like, let me slide into this a little bit, because I remember back in the day, watching commercials that, made fun of my parents' generation. And I thought that was kind of funny. It cracked me up, and then, a commercial was done with the whole, push it good, with the thing, that one. And that wasn't as bad. But more recently, you had the whoomp, there it is, or the scoop it, there it is, or whatever them guys did. And I'm like, wait a second. That was something that I listened to. That was a song I actually kind of dug back in the day. They're making fun of my music. This is kind of bogus. I'm like, I'm older than what I thought I was. Crap. It definitely was like, oh boy, this ain't good. I watched, I grew up on Saturday morning cartoons, and, one of the things that I watched was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and I watched a cartoon, loved the cartoon. It was an awesome thing, and my mom one year for Christmas, she gave me season 1, volume 1 of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the awesome, amazing cartoon. I watched it for, to bring back that childhood amazingness. And whenever I watched it, I was like, what did I ever see in this? It was the most ridiculous thing that I was like, what in the world was I thinking? Although I tell you what, though, and this is in all honesty, there was one thing about, He-Man and a lot of the cartoons back then, and He-Man and Masters of the Universe was definitely one of them. But like at the end of each one of their episodes, there was that moral, the moral of the story that they always did. Okay. And that's something that I think is lacking in programming in general, but that one was a, Saturday morning cartoon. I don't remember when it was on, but, Saturday morning cartoon. And it was the moral of the story, like this cartoon wasn't just for entertainment. We did this to try to teach you something, a moral, a value, something that you can walk away from feeling better and being a better person about. I thought that was cool. You know, it was really neat, you know. Keep on rocking in the free world. Good song too, by the way. I like that one. But yeah, so that was a good sidetrack, wasn't it? That was a good sidetrack. All right, so let's see here. Let's get into the stimulus checks. I guess we could get into that a little bit. I've been looking into. Let me get rid of these stories. Kind of clear my table just a little bit. There we go. All right. So with this story, I've been looking into this on what this actually means, what we're going to get back in this stimulus, or what we're going to get in this stimulus check. Oh, don't you dare do that. Don't you do it. Okay, good. It didn't do it. That's good. Pop-ups, you know, sometimes I really, really hate pop-ups. I really do. But I've been looking into, you know, because there's been some stuff on it, it's like $1,400 stimulus check, and then it's like, okay, who's actually going to get the stimulus check? And then things changed on the stimulus check, and then who's actually getting the stimulus check? And then if you file your taxes really quick, that might change something. It's like, I don't even know what's going on. And I really don't. You know, I've been looking into it, but this article right here actually looks like it's got some pretty decent information into it. Ooh, that's a big number. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, cool. And I'm kind of wondering. Oh yeah, of course it doesn't. All right. So anyway, let me show you guys. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So this article is from CNET. Okay, good. CNET. $1,400 stimulus check formula, the fine print that could change everything. Everything. That was a movie reference. I don't even remember where the reference comes from. It's been too long. And then this article, actually from CBS News, third stimulus check, why some people should file their taxes ASAP, as soon as possible. Already had that one. Where'd the other one go? Thought I had two. Apparently I thought I had three. Apparently I do not have three. I only have two. All right, so I was looking into this. There's some numbers in here that I would read as far as, you know, the minimum or the family, the highest that you can make and what you're going to get. I know that they've changed that one, and it looks right now that the soonest it could arrive. Oh, that doesn't even say. In the first two stimulus rounds in 2020, for example, under the new plan, a family of four could potentially get $5,600 versus maximum 24 supplied by the $600 check. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, they said that this is going to give you some fine print and let you know some information, but it really... Okay, so that was a waste of time article. Don't you love those waste of time articles? It's like, why did they do that? You know, they're keeping this stuff... I'm convinced of this. They're keeping this stuff a huge pain in the butt. And they're kind of being not really, you know, on purposely, intentionally vague on this. There we go. That's my $3 word. They're keeping everybody, you know, being intentionally vague on this so people really don't know what the heck's going on. And part of the reason is they're doing this stuff. You guys remember the last stimulus check, like all the money that went elsewhere, you know, like they spent a butt ton of money and they sent it over to Pakistan so that this way they could fund their gender studies program instead of just going, you're a boy. I think they're intentionally keeping everybody clouded on the issue. They don't really want people knowing what's going on. They really don't. You know, $1,400 stimulus, even though Biden promised in the beginning, wasn't it $2,000? So If Biden promised $2,000, why then is he trying to include his first portion of the stimulus check off the back of Trump's $600 stimulus, even though Trump said, I want to do $2,000 as well, but it was the Democrats in office that said, no. We got to pay for a gender study program in Pakistan. We can't give everybody $2,000. We can only do $600. That's it. That's all we can do. That's all we can afford. We've got way too much money we're wanting to send everywhere else. We got way too much money we got to send everywhere else. And the same thing is true with this one. You know, this was a, what was this? Was this the 5,593 page thing done in reciprocity? Yeah, I think that was. $1,400 stimulus check that we don't even know who's getting it. You know, like one of the only things that I had heard was like, okay, here's a cutoff point for a family. Okay. I'm assuming based off of that cutoff point that me being single, what's the cutoff for that? But I don't think I'm eligible because looking at where that's at here, I don't even think I'm getting it. But I mean, let's be honest, guys. I mean, I don't need, the stimulus check is for people whom, was forced out of their job, was forced out of their ability to earn a paycheck. And yes, I am wording that intentionally the way that I am wanting to. This thing was caused by different states that made decisions to do certain things for a certain amount of time. A government problem that the government is trying to fix using our money. But the stimulus check really wasn't to help people like me whom, I'm a truck driver. I've been rolling this whole time. Dave, you know exactly what that's like. He too, truck driver that, he didn't lose his position because of the COVIDs. I did not lose my position. I did not lose my job. I did not have to stop rolling because of the COVIDs. So the stimulus wasn't intended for people like me anyway. So, I mean, I'm not heartbroken at the fact that I'm probably not getting this one. And I'm fine with that. It's like, dude, I don't need it anyway. It wasn't intended for somebody in my position. This was intended for people whom really have lost their job, lost their livelihood, and are just scraping by. That's who this is for. So, hey, I'm good with that, But what I'm not good about is all the other places that this money is going to, and they can only squeeze out $1,400 for, the people that are hurting, the businesses that they've forced to shut down. Here's an interesting tidbit of information I want to give you, and we're almost done. We're probably going to say bye-bye after this. But I want you guys to think about something, okay? Back in the day, hit the rewind button. Hop in your DeLorean, go 88 miles an hour, 1.21 gigawatts of electricity, pumping through that flux capacitor, and we're going to go back in time. November 5th of 1955. No, not really that date. Where did the Revolutionary War start? Do you guys remember? It started in churches. It started in restaurants. And it started in bars. Not prisons, but the drinking kind. That's where I hit the mic. I apologize. That's where the Revolutionary War started. That's where people shared their feelings about what was going on. And that's really where people's gullet started to rumble. And they started to get moved. They started to get angry. They started to take notice about what was going on. And then we hit the tipping point and then eventually won our independence from Great Britain. What's some of the hardest hit industries, businesses, things from the COVID? What did they shut down first? Churches, restaurants, and bars. Do you really think that was an accidental coincidence? Or do you think that was by design? I don't have an answer for you on that. I really don't. But it's peculiar. It's one of those things that make you go, Another song reference from back in the day. But it should be something to take note of. Because it's not the Cuomos of the world that had to quit going to restaurants and other such establishments. It's us that had to suffer that. It wasn't the Nancy Cuomos, oh my God, that was accidental. It wasn't the Nancy Pelosi's and the Chris Cuomos that had to, alter their life and livelihood that can no longer do that. As people like us. We're the ones that have had to suffer through this. And it was something that, and I can't claim to be the originator of that thought process. I can't. I heard it somewhere. And like a lot of other things, I could not tell you where it was that I heard that from. But I heard that and I was like, holy cow. They wanted to take us out of the environment that they did not control. And then they forced cancel culture where they did have control. Social media. They let the mainstream media spew their lies. They kept the fact checkers going in social media to keep you from learning the truth. And they did a lot to hinder the word of mouth transference of information that we used to rely on. All right, guys, that is all I got today. I do thank you guys for stopping by and being part of the conversation. Very much do. So if you guys would like more information on stuff, and again, for that awesome thing that I was talking about earlier in the program, the video that is going to be made and that special surprise that those of you whom are subscribers to the Ho Ho Show newsletter, which you guys can head on over to thehohoshow.com, scroll down towards the bottom of the page, pretty close to the bottom, the subscribe, just put your email address in there. I don't use that crap for anything other than the newsletter. I ain't got anything I want to send it to. I don't want your information for anything to other than giving you information. So there you go. So you guys have yourself a wonderful day. Again, thank you for stopping on by. Good night, sleep tight, and if the bed bugs bite, well, by golly, bite them back. This has been The Ho Ho Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpikle.com. Until next time.